Welcome to Healing Wisdom, a Thursday morning talk show featuring guests sharing their stories and knowledge. We discuss the healing aspects of the arts, metaphysics, social justice, and adventure through all types of terrain. So join me, Pandora Peoples, here on WOMR 92.1 FM in Provincetown and WFMR 91.3 FM in Orleans. We're streaming worldwide at WOMR.org.
En sommarkväll. Vi följde vägen längs med ån vid kvarnens fot. Vi hörde vattenfallets dån från sten till sten. Med lätta hopp försvann vi ut i stjärnors sken. Var våran längtan utan slut. I skumets dans. Vi hörde bäckens melodi med blå nyans. Och från den stund fanns bara vi. Din trötta blick, jag stod där utan ord. Sen gick tåget och du drömde dig bort. Jag var fel, du hade inget kvar av det jag älskat första gången. Allt är sagt, inget att minnas mer. Undrar vem som kommer längta tillbaks. Bara ord, men innan jag förstått hade vi blivit något.
We've been listening to a song from Frander. They're a Nordic folk music band from Sweden. Their new album, Frander 2, explores their traditional roots and examines climate change. Today we speak with Gabi Dudzetsky, composer, vocalist, and Swedish mandola player, and his wife, Sade Tartar, flautist and vocalist. We also learn what it's like living in a Bronze Age Viking village. Welcome, Gabi and Sade. You'll be in New York City January 13th at Scandinavia House. You two are married with kids. How did you come to play music together?
That was before the kids.
Yes.
But, well, we actually met at the music camp for young musicians from all over the world. Since Sade is from Estonia and I'm from Sweden, that's how we met.
10 years ago, so
A bit more.
it's been a while.
Can you talk about your songwriting and composition process and what you're looking to accomplish with this album?
Yes, well, to start off, we have all composed this album. I'm not alone. So, Evigt Regn, the Eternal Rain, the first single I was alone composing, but the second single was a collective where the four of us has been composing, and that's usually how we work. We work all together. But what we try to accomplish, I think what we are trying to accomplish musically, it's something we've been speaking about for many years, and it's to create sort of we have a traditional foundation. We are trad heads and we love trad music, but we have really tried to be on the outskirts of tradition, because we also have other influences and backgrounds and roots, rock music, classical music, jazz, and our idea was to create music that is unquestionably trad music, but someone who loves Led Zeppelin or the Beatles or whatever, they should be able to listen to Frander and be like, whoa, I know this. Like, I understand this music, but on the same time, just be like a big question mark. So that has been our, like, musically, that has been a goal for us, to be on the outskirts of trad music, but still unquestionably be Nordic trad music?
Well, we come from very different genres. I come from classical, Gabby's rockhead, and Daniel, the second brother, is also from jazz rock. Natasha is from blues.
Yeah.
She really likes that kind of music. So we have been studying traditional music. So it's like a mixture of us.
Your new song, Eternal Rain, has lines like, with wind as sick as a greedy man, and a wrathful sun who burns all she sees, and a deaf rain which drowns cries of sorrow. It reminds me of creation stories, a sort of dystopian bedtime or a modern Grimm's fairy tale. As parents, do you feel an extra urgency to create music for a better world for your kids?
How do I say this? We are not really a political band in that sense, but it's also impossible not to be political these days. Like you have to be political with your music and with your art in some way anyway. And we need to create music, and we need to create music for a better world, absolutely. And
to be better parents, I think, as well.
I mean, everything gets better with good art, or art in general. So that's what we have to do. But I'm raised in a music family with musician parents, and the impact that music has had on me. I think of that because I get this, or we get these questions, and we also question ourselves, like, why do we do it? We don't really have a political agenda, and we don't really have a goal in that sense. But then I start thinking, and the impact that music has had on me, if I can just have a small, almost the same impact on someone else, that's enough for me, because music is everything for me, and it has changed my whole world.
How do you all compose together? The two of you are working with your brother and your sister.
Well, the lyrics usually come
Last.
in the end, yes. So the music is there, and the feeling, and the lyrics will usually born through the music, or what the music wants to say. And that's what we really like, that the music speaks first.
Yeah. The music inspired the lyrics, but then when the lyrics come, everything usually just fall into place.
Yeah.
But it's a bit backwards to most people. They start with lyrics, or many times people start with lyrics anyway, but we do it the other way. But composing together, what do you want to know? 3 siblings and 1 wife composing together. It can be anything from... Yeah, could be anything.
Easy to complicated.
Can be complicated, can be very easy. Depends on the day.
Yeah.
I think the consensus of the story kind of takes shape parallel to the music. So the further we get with a song, the more we understand, at least what kind of feeling the song has, and what kind of, it can be very... hard to grasp, but we still understand that, okay, this is kind of this type of song. But then when we put words on it, then usually it falls into place, and we're like, oh, okay, yes, that's the song.
But sometimes the journey ends completely different, that we thought it would be a soft, nice song, and it ends up being like this really heavy, groovy.
Yeah,
you never know.
So, and then the lyric also, or the story of the song also change parallel to that, to the musical change.
som ett vrål över mark och myr. Trött jagar den plågad fram, sjuk som en girig man. Hör du vad regnet slår hårt? Lämnar jorden med öppna sår. Döv
We just heard Eternal Rain from Frander's new album Frander 2. We're speaking with Gabby and Sade about their new release.
Like, I love concept albums. I'm an old prog rock head, so I love the old 70s concept albums, but I've always loved to do or to make one, but I've never made one in that sense. But with this one, we didn't really have an overall story or an overall idea. It was when we wrote the songs, it was more of a separate songs. But speaking of how things develop and the lyrics, I think when the lyrics and also the titles, because in the beginning we always have working titles, that might be a title that reflects the feeling of the song more than actually a title. But when we put titles on the songs and started thinking what is this song, who is this, and when the lyrics came, we got an overall concept with this album. And this album is very much based on where we grew up and where we live now and lived before, also because we are back in the same place. But so this whole album is actually very much about that, and the sparrow, the black sparrow, or the sorrow of the black sparrow is the same, because I can sense in the lyrics that Natasha has based it on everyday's, or every person's doubts and struggles, but also my mom, for example, she was called Vrubbe, which is sparrow, so it's in Polish, but still that is it is present. I don't think this song has really anything to do with my mom, but it is present there. It's so much personal stuff present in these songs, which I like that it's.
Tell us about the town that you live in, that you grew up in, and Sade you moved to. It's a Bronze Age Viking village.
Well, Sade can tell you about moving here, because we live here now, but.
Oh yeah, well, I really haven't been outside this area where we live, which is very next to the village Håga, because we have 2 small kids and we haven't had time to move to or take longer trips than to the playground outside.
Or to the studio.
Or the studio. But yeah, well, the studio is in Håga village, and that's where I landed 10 years ago, and I was so inspired by the place, because it's an old Viking village, and so much about the history, and that's very special, because there is no real Viking history in Estonia, where I come from, and that you could really date back so many 100 years. It was really fascinating. Thousands of years, yes. But now that you can actually live in the same area where you know that people lived 2,000-3,000 years ago, and we have this possibility to have a studio there, and really, you asked about do you feel the ancestors and the roots? I really feel that this is the place where you can sense the history and the power. Yeah.
And how was it growing up? I don't know. I mean, when you're a kid, you just run around, play, and that's what you do. You don't really think.
But you were very proud of speaking the first time we met about your village, about the history. So you knew.
It's a beautiful place. You have to come see it for yourself. But it's a beautiful place, and it's a perfect place to grow up, because you can just run freely in the valley of Håga and around the tombs and the stone settings, and in the forest, and it's just a very big national park, basically, where you can just freely run around. So Håga is based outside Uppsala. Uppsala is the 4th biggest city of Sweden. So you have Stockholm, Göteborg, Malmö, and then Uppsala. But the problem with Uppsala is that Uppsala is 40 minutes away from Stockholm. So we are...
It's like a little brother.
Yeah, we are kind of neglected because people go to Stockholm instead of coming to Uppsala. But Håga is a small village, maybe 10 minutes by car outside Uppsala city center. So it's very close, but it's a little oasis where you crosses a little bridge, and then suddenly you're on the countryside. We have 3 farms and horses and cows and sheep and everything, and still you can basically walk to the city center.
You see the castle and the cathedral from the village.
Yeah. So it's a magical place. It's very much like Narnia, where you open the door and then suddenly you are somewhere else. But it's a small village with maybe 300 houses. So it's a tiny, tiny place. And there's festivals and stuff. Håga in modern time. So we moved in 27 years ago, or my parents and with kids. And since then, they have started developing Håga into like a cultural hub. So 15 years ago, a neighbor of ours, he created a scene or a stage where he has been hosting concerts every Sunday for 15 years. And they are with what is called voluntary admissions. Yes. Lunch concerts every Sunday. But there are not really a lot of other culture. Of course, like Håga has a cultural vibe, and there are many people living there doing culture in some sort, but it's not like Håga has it's a too small place, basically.
But that's why I would say it's lots of culture going on there. Markets and our own festival just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we started our own festival some years ago, Frander och Vänner, which is our folk festival, and we do it twice a year in Håga. So there is one festival there.
Yeah, and we're very happy to invite our friends to Håga to play on this scene.
Yes. So we did it 2 weeks ago. 2 weekends ago, we had our 5th festival, a 2-day festival.
We're going to hear The Sorrow of the Black Sparrow. speaking with Gabby Duzetsky and Sade Tartar, members of Frander, the Swedish folk rock group. They'll be performing at Scandinavia House January 13th at 1 p.m. in New York City. You can find their website at scandinaviahouse.org, and Frander's website is frander.se. You've been listening to Healing Wisdom at Outermost Radio. All of our shows are podcasts at WOMR.org. Also check out healingwisdomradioshow.com and contact me at pandora@WOMR.org. Our theme music is provided by Mason. You can find her website at masonmusic.com. That's MAESYN.